Welcome back everyone, my name's Eltimar and we're going to be continuing our Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous. Where we left off, we just arrived back in Dresden. Wilker Garms is here to talk to us. Commander, pardon me for distracting you from important business. Quartermaster Wilker Garms is sheepishly fiddling with some sort of list. You can only read one item, which is written in large red letters, "Get more wine." The troops asked me to play messenger. In any case, I, or rather we, all of us soldiers that is, we're inviting you to a party. He takes a breath to gather his courage, then blurts out, "We're having a party in your honor and you hope to join us. Nothing fancy, of course, a regulation army party, completely by the book, well, mostly by the book, but it'll be fun." What's the occasion? Wilker doesn't seem to know where to look or what to do with his hands. We heard what you do with your powers, you know, the magical ones, and we're proud that our commander is a mortal that doesn't need to borrow power to challenge the world wound. It's good to serve such a fearless person, so we want to express our respect. Wilker looks down to hide his telling smile. "You're hiding something, Wilker. Come on out with it." Wilker smiles shyly. "Right you are, Commander. The thing is, they want it to be a surprise. They have a little present for you, and they want this to have a sense of occasion, but it's supposed to be a secret, so if it's not too much trouble, please pretend you don't know anything." "Very well, I accept the invitation, and I will enjoy the festivities with my troops." "That's great. We set up camp outside the Dresden walls, so if we get a bit rowdy, it won't bother anyone, and those sending watch won't feel like they're missing out. We'll be eagerly awaiting you." If this is an ambush for some reason, I'm going to be annoyed. Darren appears at your door with a bottle of wine and a smile on his lips. He appears to have completely recovered from his shock and is livelier than ever. "A break from the duties of commander is called for. Eltimar, I have a brilliant idea." He points at the bottle. "I want to commemorate the heroic Inquisitor Leoder Hawkblade. May his soul find the way to the golden throne of his goddess," and so on and so forth. "He was the only god brother I actually happen to like. Quite achievement, I say." Let's drink to him. Darren takes a glass of wine with you in silence, then smiles. "All is well that ends well, and with that I shall take my leave. That adventure we have, that was truly outstanding. Oh yes, here's a little present for me, in honor of our shared views on the Inquisition, so to speak. Star-embroidered gloves." And now someone else is here. This is a lot of stuff going on. Alan looks calm but determined. "Commander, I'm glad to see you've returned from the Abyss. Alright, here's the deal." Sela gets straight to the point. "While we were in the Abyss, these folks discovered where the souls are being kept, the ones that were stolen by the demons. Well, I wouldn't say we discovered it exactly. I may be a cleric, but there are limits to my power, especially here in the World Wound. However, we do know the general location. When I was looking for the souls, I had a vision. I saw a rock that looks like a gravestone, and beneath it was an entrance to a cave. I know that the rock is on the outskirts of the Winged Wood. It was not difficult to recognize the ancient forest. It's been burning for decades in an unquenchable fire started by the demons. I'm certain that this is where the souls are being held, but I don't know what awaits us beneath the rock. Anyway, Alan and I have decided to go there, find the souls, and rough up any demons or cultists that get in our way, but we'd love to have your help. Alright, I'll help you." Alan nods. "I'll leave at once. I'll scout out the area and keep watch on the cave and its surroundings. I'll share my findings when you arrive. My heartfelt thanks goes to you for your help, Commander. And I should return to my duties as a cleric. I have much to do in Dresden. Oh, I'm just itching to give my blade a taste of those soul-stealing cultists. But the most important thing is that we save the victims, and that's exactly what we're going to do." "Thank you, Eltimar. I want you to know I really appreciate your help. I know these cultists are our enemies anyways, but I'm glad you're not ignoring the plight of the ordinary people, like the ones who are robbed of their souls." A figure approaches you, but it takes a moment to recognize who it is. Janna, the ill-fated deserter from the Eagle Watch. She looks very different from the last time you saw her. She's calm and collected, though her face is a little pale and you notice a scar on her right temple, jagged and fresh. "Janna!" Sela beams at her friend. "You're here!" "Yeah, I'm here," she falters, then blurts out, "Sela, how can you be smiling at someone who failed you? I thought you'd never want to see me again." "I mean, I'll definitely give you peace of mind once we're in private." Sela pretends to look stern, "But I'm really glad that you're okay." Sela's words bring a small smile to Janna's lips. Then the former deserter turns to you. "Well, let me tell you why I'm here. I have business with you, or rather a request." "Commander?" Janna hesitates, then continues resolutely. "I know about the stolen souls. I want to help you search for them. I've come to ask if you let me join you and Sela on this mission. Please give me another chance." "Very well, we'll give you a chance to redeem yourself. Go with Alan and help him. We'll meet you there." "Really? I won't let you down. We're not just saving a cart full of booze this time. This is much more important, but that just means we have to succeed. Failure is not an option." Oh my god, how many meetings do we have? Lady Konami's voice is brimming with satisfaction. "Commander, I bring wonderful news. We are getting reports from all regions of Mendiv that the nationwide political crisis has been resolved. The nobility has answered our summons and restored order in the kingdom. Our promise to grant them new lands on the territories reclaimed from the demons has met with success, especially among those who have never seen the World Wound. I believe it's fair to say that at this moment, Commander, your word carries the greatest weight in Mendiv's politics. You could use this influence to accomplish something monumental. For example, you could organize a total military mobilization across the kingdom. What will you do with your newfound power? We need to remind Mendevians that the gods care for us. They gave us strength and the wisdom to save the kingdom. Let the people go to the temples, praise them, make donations, and pray. In dark times, we need all the faith we can muster. In many lands, the temples collect tithes. I have a fresh new idea. Why don't we turn this around and tax the temples? We'll call it Tax of the Righteous. And the Tax of the Righteous, nice. And tell them that the more pious the temple and its congregation, the more coin will be collected. We'll just have to wait and see what wins, faith or greed. Someone must take care of Mendev. The old mayor won't survive another wild ride like that. Maybe we should hold elections for the members of the Royal Council. Finally let those who are worthy run the country, no matter their social class or wealth. Equal rights for tieflings. Woljif's hands on hips, stares boldly at those around him. It's time to stop the oppression of our noble people by Mendevian society. Tails no reason for persecution. Can't remember what these do. Judgment Day spell, which is pretty good. Taxing gives us cost reduction, which I don't really care about. Elections to the Royal Council, lower mercenary costs. Mythic units and energy, and I think still this one is the best one. Woljif's cries once again fill the room. All hail the chief. Our brethren will never forget this. You'll see. There are lots of decent tieflings in Avestan who are being victimized because of their heritage. Once they hear folks stop treating us like dirt here in Mendev, this place will be packed with them. In a lowered voice, he mutters, and then we'll see who's going to spit on who. Lady Konami bows respectfully. When we first met, I allowed my eyes to deceive me. I failed to discern within you a outstanding politician. You knew nothing of diplomacy. You were unaware of the power of structure in Nerosian and beyond. But you were driven by your uncanny intuition, and with it, you have saved Mendev and strengthened our ties with foreign allies. You have my respect. I wasn't a diplomat before the war, and I haven't become one now, but I think I'm beginning to understand politics and their actions better. And I'm convinced that the key is to never forsake your conscience, and I don't think we have. I must admit these council meetings weren't the worst moments of my life. They were almost entertaining. It seems you have the ability to make everything more interesting, be it waging war or hosting ambassadors. And I, like a true son of Mendev, even took part in deciding its fate. We shall see if posterity will curse us for it or sing our praises. I can't imagine ever becoming a proper diplomat. All this political skullduggery makes my hand reach for my bow. I was this close to going down in history as Lan, the shooting ambassador, but I'm impressed with how slick you were at dealing with intrigues and weaving a web of your own. Looks like politics isn't such a big deal after all. It's just like the gangs on the street, apart from the cussing. Maybe I should be a diplomat after the war. It's been an honor and a pleasure to advise you, Commander. However, I don't think you will need my counsel from here on out. Mendev stands strong, our allies are loyal and reliable. The Diplomatic Council has served its purpose. You don't need it any longer. Well, there we go. Oh, another person. Commander, the scouts have brought troubling news. Karamzad has been spotted near Threshold. He's gathering, no, not an army, but a horde by the likes of which we've never seen. All those victories you had over him were an affront to the Abyss. The general the demons were most proud of, the one they revered, lost to some mortal, and the very thought of it enrages them. Now those who call themselves the champions of the Abyss are converging under his banner, the most wicked, brutal, and dangerous demonic warriors. We're not facing another skirmish, but a decisive battle. It will determine which of you deserves the title of the greatest military leader in this war. Captain Odan's eyes, despite his unusually impassive demeanor, now gleam frantically. But Karamzad is not the only one with powerful allies. Your victories have elevated your authority to such heights that the best warriors in Galarian would consider it an honor to stand alongside you in this battle. Why don't we send an official offer of military cooperation to Multhiun? The Imperial Army is strong and disciplined. They could be of great use to us. Lastwall and Mendev have much in common. Lastwall too must hold the line against dark forces. The Shining Crusaders are every bit as noble as Mendevian Crusaders. Maybe we could call them to our aid. I suggest contacting the Esoterium Lodge. It's a private and rather powerful Chalaxian group of wizards from Corentin. Their members have combat experience, they are skilled spellcasters, and I know how we can secure their support. After a brief, sly grin, Greyboar puts on an innocent look and says, if you want to get yourself some intrepid allies who know a thing or two about killing monsters, ask the Dragon Slayers. Sure, we're not at war with dragons here, but if a monster is big, scaly, and breathes fire, what difference does it make? This is our hardened veterans turning into better units. We can do the Knights of Ozum, which are high hit point, decent magic power, decent attack knights. They also have a spell, Cure Serious Wounds. We can get the Esoterium Lodge, which gives us Arcanists, which have a decent amount of hit points, shit armor, actually surprisingly good melee attack, but they can also cast Magic Missile, Cone of Cold, and Shield Wall. We can do Multhiun, which are Honor Guards, which aren't particularly good, honestly. Moderate hit points, not great armor, just sort of okay armor, okay damage. The Dragon Slayers, however, are actually among the best of them. They have insane range damage. Like, just a crazy amount. Heavy crossbow +4 deals 165 to 174 damage. That is a ludicrous amount of damage for a unit to do. Like, look at the difference here. So Dragon Slayers to 165 to 174. That's pretty good. And I might actually do the Arcanists because their magic is going to be intensely good, but let's take a quick look at some of the other melee units we can get, or most of the units we can get. This is 18 to 25. 35 to 42, right? 165 to 174. But I'm going to go with Arcanists. We took the Dragon Slayers last time. A letter to the head of the lodge will be composed in a proper manner and sent expeditiously. Well, we can certainly use new allies. The most gruesome battle in the history of the Crusades awaits us. Either we'll prevail over Karamzada and the Abyss itself, or we'll fall defending Golarion to the last. Commander, have a request. Captain Odan stops short and looks around the new room frowningly and then shakes his head. Though this isn't the time to make it. When you have a spare moment, please come and find me. I'd like to discuss something very important to me, something very personal. I'd be grateful if we could talk to it before our army set out to battle the champions of the Abyss. Yeah, we can deal with that too. Alright, we're going to quickly check. We spent like 11 minutes doing just ruling things. That was crazy amount of stuff we just had to do. Anyways, campaign. Where is Beta Force? Nope. Does no one have champions yet? We should put them in this force then, probably. This force is very powerful already on its own. Alright, we're gonna go out of the castle. It's easier to do it from the main screen. I don't know why, it just is. Yeah, we'll just do it outside. We're gonna take I don't know who I want to bring with me. Greybor wants to talk to us somewhere. Outside the... He might betray us at that point. We'll find that out, I guess. Actually, no, I keep on... I'm gonna put this group back the way it was. You, and you. Oops. You. Let's take a look at our things we can do. We definitely need to bring Greybor with us, obviously, to the dry whatever area. Where was that? Dry Crossroads. It's not that far away either. We could bring him along. We're making 18 Arcanists, or those are Assassins. We're making 11 a week for Arcanists. It's not too bad. Anyways, why is our main force here? Oh, because it's going back south, right? That's out of movement points. That army is fine there. I'm gonna buy it some Arcanists. They are ridiculously expensive. Okay. That was a lot more money than I thought it was going to be. That said, I'm hoping they can deal some serious damage. We'll find out, I guess. Alright, let's go into the Citadel really quick. Grab Greybor. Set some decrees, because I'm pretty sure we need to. And then we'll go do Greybor's quest, and then maybe we can do Seela's quest. We'll leave Ember behind this time. Do I level Greybor up, or is he going to attack me? We'll get there. No, wrong. Go back the other way. It's that one. Okay. What level is he currently? He's 16. He can handle whatever's here. Probably, maybe. I don't know. We'll find out really soon, I guess. If you betray me, Greybor, I'm going to punch you in the face. So, why is Greybor the only person here? Oh, man. Do we need to level him up? Let's get some wisdom drain. Fine, we'll level him up quickly. I don't actually care what he's going to have. So we're just going to do this really fast. Do you have weapon focus? Do you have greater weapon focus? No. Throw greater weapon focus. You can't get greater weapon focus. Well then, okay. Or do you already have it? Improved critical, improved critical. That's weapon focus. We don't have greater weapon focus. Okay. What's it gonna say for our point blank shot? Really? Blind fight. Done. Next. Don't care. Next. Look at it familiar. That'd be kind of cool. Wearying strike, I guess, is okay. Or maybe like, I mean, blinding strike's pretty good. Blinding criticals are pretty awesome. Screw it, I'll grab Wearying Strike. I just can't be bothered to care too much about this. We're never gonna use Grey Boar except for this last little thing here. Cleave. You'll never cleave in your life, but I don't care. Okay. Now we have mythic abilities too. Do we just have one mythic? We have 3. And mythic feat. Ugh. Actually, no, we don't. We just have 1, I think. Just this one. Mythic power attack. Sure. Wait, no. Do you? Yeah, you use power attack. Good enough. And you get one of these. You can take thunder. Oh, you already have thundering blows. Leading strike. There. Okay, saving. Sniper from Lucianira and apprentice assassin. An outsider, kill him. A group of thugs blocks your path. They're armed and they look ready to fight. Their leader faces you with hands on his hips. We didn't think you were going to show, but you wouldn't do that to us, would you, Grey Boar? Where's the target? I know you're a professional, but I've never worked with you before, so listen up, I'm watching you. No funny business or I'll make you bleed, got it? The target is on his way, just as I promised. The leader relaxes slightly and gives a nod of satisfaction. His tone no longer sounds hostile. You're a dwarf of your word, I respect that. We're getting sick of sitting around in these woods, and he pauses for emphasis, was getting antsy too. Hope your friends won't get cold feet when it's time to act. Don't you worry about my bunch, not our first hunt. As long as the target's where he's supposed to be, they'll do what they've been told. Is she here now? Probably. You know she doesn't like to show up too early. She's smart, wants to scout out the area first. I respect that. Once we cornered the target, she'll be here. Or not, it's impossible to tell with her. Everything ready? Now wait just a moment, she said you'd be in charge of all the preparations. She told us to wait for your arrival and follow all your instructions. So why don't you scout out the area and figure out what needs to be done. We need at least 3 places for the crew to hide, and we need a good location for our archer as well. And that trail over there bothers me. Makes it too easy for our target to escape. He points to a trail that branches off from the road and disappears into the woods. You'll need to see if there's a way to block that path somehow. I'll scope it out. Go ahead, boss, we'll sit here and wait your orders. Are we here planning my own assassination? It does seem that way, doesn't it? These thick bushes would provide an ample cover for an ambush.
Precisely.
Nothing over here yet. This is a suitable position for an archer. It overlooks the area.
I'll do as you tell me.
There's a large crack in the trunk of the tree. A fairly well-aimed blow would cause it to fall and block the trail.
Waste not a minute.
Well, this is an interesting quest. We'll see what happens in the end. This rock is an excellent hiding place and it'll provide good cover against ranged attacks.
Follow your instinct.
There's one more thing to look at over here. These trees can hide more than a solitary hunter. They could conceal an entire wagon. Alright. Who do I talk to? Oh, I talk to these people, I think. How's it going, boss? Had a chance to look around yet? Any orders? Your archer should take position up on the hill. Sounds good to me. The leader turns to one of his henchmen and mutters, "What are you just standing around for? Get your ugly mug back up, or get your ugly mug up on that hill." Ugh. So the archer's going up there. The ugly mug grabs a bow, deftly checks the bowstring and quiver, then strolls off nonchalantly in the direction of the hill. Place your crew in the bushes along the road, behind those trees, and behind that huge boulder. Can do. Those are some good locations, nice and hidden. Can't see him from the road. There's a damaged tree by the... the leader turns to his henchman, calls out in a commanding voice, "Alright, stop sitting around on your asses, go where you're told and lay low. I better not see or hear any of you." There's a damaged tree by the trail, we need to chop it down and block the path. It's not a bad idea, we'll block the path so no one can get through. Guess we're set then, time to lay low. You know your stuff, Greybor, can't fault your decisions, you made some good calls, I respect that. The sound just cut out. Why? 1 second, I'm just gonna fix that. There we go. Everything's working now. Our main character just died. Everything's ready. Now we just have to wait for the main character to appear on the stage. This is the first time you've seen Horzala in person. She gazes at you triumphantly. "You're not as smart as everyone thinks," she gloats mockingly. "You walk straight into a trap set by your own associate." "Don't kill him. I want to finish him off myself. You performed your task admirably, Greybor. You charged me an exorbitant fee for your services, but it seems you were worth every coin. Did you expect anything less? As I said, when I take a job, it gets done. You wanted the commander and I brought him to you." Yaz is standing off to the side. He clears his throat, annoyed that he's being left out of the conversation. "Your death will bring me..." "Shut up, Yaz, I didn't give you permission to speak." Horzala glares angrily at Yaz and he quails beneath her fiery gaze. "It is very brave of you to appear in person. I applaud your courage." "I wanted to personally witness your demise," Horzala snaps angrily. "Do you think I'm scared of you? Huh. You have no idea how powerful I am. Hepsimir was nothing compared to me. And now my father has freed me from those accursed seals. I'm no longer bound. I am Baphomet's daughter, the strongest of his offspring. I have reclaimed my rightful place and now I will destroy you." "Yaz, why are you here? Do you really want to kill me?" "It's not like you had any other choice in the matter," Horzala crows triumphantly. "This half-wit belongs to me and so does his guild. After you killed Hepsimira, Baphomet gave me back my power. I was restored to my rightful place and Yaz, who once considered himself my master, became my property." She cracks her knuckles, causing the former leader of the Assassin's Guild to cower in fear. Yaz desperately tries to save face. He forces a smile. "I'm sorry, but the bounty on your head was just too tempting. Couldn't resist." "So Horzala has robbed you of your guild and your pride. How pathetic." Yaz recoils as if he's been slapped and hisses angrily. "You'll regret your insolence, I swear." "Greybor, you betrayed me?" "The guild I joined, with your consent I might add, asked me to do a job. They offered me a sizable reward, and our partnership has been less than satisfactory, so I'm breaking our contract. Oh, and you're about to be killed by my new employers. I instructed Greybor to lure you here, and he has performed his task admirably. You'll not leave this place alive." Greybor doesn't even look at you. He's listening to Horzala intently. Well, I suppose that answers my question. "I'm glad you didn't lecture me about loyalty and betrayal. I despise long sermons." "Thought we got along well. Why do you want me dead?" Horzala's voice rises triumphantly. "Father will see how wrong he was about me. He'll reward me with his favor when I present him with your head. Then I'll be the greatest of Baphomet's daughters once more, and that half-mortal upstart Borlesh will crawl on her knees before me. I'll rout the armies of the Lady in Shadow, then I'll cut down Deskari's lackeys and take his army for myself. And once that's done, it'll be your turn, Crusaders. I'll make you kneel before the Lord of Beasts." "You've lured the wrong beast into your trap." "Good. Here, give him a good beating before you finish him off." Greybor smirks ominously. "It won't be easy for them to carry out that order because they themselves are already dead. Commander, now!" Pulling a whistle decorated with runes from his pocket, the dwarf brings it to his lips and produces a high-pitched trill.
Let's make this quick.
I mean, this is still not a great situation for us. Yaz just pieced out. No, he came up. He's well, at least he has last stand, I guess.
I'll just have to resort to brute force.
There's still a lot of enemies here.
Let's have some fun.
And the rest of our reinforcements have now shown up. Greybor may still die. Are we on last stand already? No, we're fine. Wait, Greybor is against us? Sorry, I'm gonna pause for this old siren. Kinda getting tired of living in a place where there's constantly sirens. Yaws took some damage there. So Horzala's here. We have no Sirocos because we didn't rest because I didn't think we would need to. Let's grab this spell. Ice Body just went on her. That's fine. Kill Yaws first.
So it comes to this.
We missed. I'm also gonna start to debuff her, get her ready for a good old-fashioned thrashing.
The Inheritor, guide my blade.
I shall survive this ordeal.
Mass heal. Shoot. Yaws.
I must withdraw.
What I was made for.
That's just where Zala left. Won't be too bad, I don't think.
Retreat.
We are definitely last standing this.
You've made your choice.
Horzala is curled up on the ground in anguish. She slams her fist down angrily. This isn't how it was supposed to end. Why? Why are you so damn strong, mortal? Shorty, you little worm, you betrayed me. If you had done what I had asked, I would have given you everything you ever wanted. I value my reputation more than anything you could offer me. You can rant and rave as much as you want, but you're not going to change my mind. Greybor turns to you and gives you a business-like nod. Well done, Commander. I admit I was worried you would deviate from our plan and reveal your full strength. We needed Horzala to believe that victory was within her grasp, so she would reveal herself, and your little spectacle was quite convincing. Greybor, why don't you tell Horzala how we outwitted her? Greybor speaks slowly and deliberately as he fills his pipe. You see, Horzala, you made 3 mistakes. Your first mistake was sending your agent to Dresden to give me the assignment to bring the commander's head, instead of summoning me to Illusionera. In doing so, you made it clear to me that you had people in Dresden, that some of them might be part of the commander's inner circle. Therefore, the commander and I kept this plan a closely guarded secret. We didn't want you to find out about it, and your second mistake, you underestimated just how much I value my reputation. Under different circumstances, I would have gladly taken this assignment, but I'm not going to tarnish my good name. When the commander and I were on our way here, we had plenty of time to discuss the details of our plan. I'd pretend to carry out the assignment, and the commander would pretend that he was trapped. We knew you could not resist the opportunity to savor your triumph personally. I just had to play my part convincingly when I helped set up the ambush, and the commander had to fight at half strength so he wouldn't immediately destroy your lackeys, and you fell for it. You threw caution to the wind and revealed your presence. Remember how I said you made 3 mistakes? Your third mistake was turning your back on this shorty. You shouldn't have come after me, Horzala. Horzala writhes on the ground and howls hysterically. I hate you! Oh, how I hate you all! I think we're done here. One of these nights, we should meet up at the tavern to celebrate. Drinks
Keep
are
your
on
heads
me.
down.
Domination's still on Greybor. We're able to break the enchantment on him. We could probably just spell it off, maybe? Let's find out. There we go, fight's over. What does Horzala have for loot? I was a little bit worried there for a second that this was a legit betrayal. Fiery Spellweaver, Heavy Pick +5, Breastplate +4, Belt of Physical Protection, Mental Thingy, Ring of Protection, bunch of random other loot. And that's the end of that. I guess we're done Greybor's quest. We should probably go talk to him in a tavern somewhere. We're gonna do a couple mass heals because our group has been... Well, I guess our main character got pasted a little bit.
Keep your calm.
And that's all there was to that. Greybor didn't really betray us in the end. That's nice of him. I was actually a little bit worried that he did. You never know. Could have happened. Alright, map. Where are I in the map? Sorry, this one. Just want to see how close we are to 39. Close-ish. Let's go talk to Greybor. And then maybe go to the soldiers' party. And then that'll be it. I think. Greybor. If I were a Greybor, where would I be sitting? There he is.
Is that the commander who entered the lair of assassins unafraid, wreaking havoc and personally murdering everyone in sight? Why, yes, I think it is him. Well, beer is on me today, just like I promised.
Greyboar greets you loudly, puffing on his pipe as usual. Thanks for remaining loyal to me.
Loyalty. It's just business, and... But perhaps you are right about that. I like you. I rarely say that to people, and almost never to my employers. But here we are.
The dwarf cuts off abruptly and goes silent for a while. He puffs his pipe, lost in thought. Finally, he speaks.
I enjoy traveling with you, and I would have felt regret if you had died. Apparently, our adventures together have made me overly sentimental.
Just know that I think highly of you.
Same goes for you. I never regretted getting involved with you, even though the whole thing seemed like a utter failure at times.
Greyboar narrows his eyes and gives a thin smile. Ever thought about quitting the assassination business?
Now? Quite the opposite. My career is booming at present. First, I have an opportunity to work with you and participate in a truly fascinating adventure, which is going to lift my reputation to new heights. Second, I've just joined a very formidable Assassin's Guild. There is a lot more for me to achieve as a professional, and I will only start thinking about retirement and the peaceful life of a commoner when I'm past my prime.
The dwarf looks at us in surprise.
Anyway, fortune doesn't favor those who think too much about tomorrow instead of living in the present. Right now, I'm fighting the world wound under your command. As for what happens next, we'll just have to see.
I think you should stop being an assassin and become a crusader instead.
Maybe you are right. Somehow your ideas have grown on me over the time we've spent together. Fighting against the forces of evil, protecting the world of Galarian. Aye, sink or swim. Look, when we deal with the world wound, you may officially enlist me in the ranks of the brave Mendevian Crusaders. There's only one condition. My dark, cynical soul remains the way it is.
Greyboar's face breaks into a genuine smile. You realize it's the first time you've seen him so truly and sincerely happy. Glad we had this talk.
You know, Commander, I've always thought that I was a loner by nature. I don't like people. I don't give a damn about them. They don't give a damn about me. And that's how it's always been, until I met you. Are an exception to all the rules. It is completely wrong for a hired blade to have any kind of personal affection for a client. But I do. Whatever lies ahead, I will never regret going on that dragon hunting mission with you.
Greyboar trails off and looks down. Then he raises his head and looks at us steadily.
Surprised to hear such words from an assassin, Commander.
Greyboar's face is bright red. He smooths down his beard and takes a long draw from his pipe and gives a deep sigh as he exhales a thick cloud of smoke. Finally, he regains his composure and continues on in a more normal tone. Can I expect any more attempts on my life?
Baphomet won't stop there, of course, but he no longer has weapons like Horsala's Assassin's Guild at his command. And the Templars of the Ivory Labyrinth are no match for them. I don't think you need to be wary of
Oops.
any more attacks.
Have you ever been tempted to betray me?
Well, maybe a little, perhaps. But I never violate the terms of my contracts. Justice, villainy, loyalty, treachery, all these words carry no meaning for me anymore. But my reputation, for that, I will put my life on the line.
You've proven that you'll always keep your word. Your reputation is well deserved.
Did you ever have any doubts about me, Commander?
He looks flattered as he exhales a large cloud of tobacco smoke. Nothing else.
In that case, let this story become a good memory of how we cheated death itself.
Yes. Yes, we will. Alright, we're going to do one more thing in this video. We're going to go and deal with the party.
Keep your wits about you.
If it's the soldiers trying to ambush the commander for giving up his powers, they're going to learn a very grim lesson. Unfortunately, we have a bit of a walk
I'm up for an
to deal with,
adventure.
and I don't think we're allowed to mount inside the city. We definitely are not, so let's roll. We also need to sell some things because while we are fairly poor, less than $1 million, we're carrying like so many items. We have $40,000, $41,000, $16,000. We have a lot of money wrapped up in magic weapon futures. Come on. Longest journey out of the city ever. So one thing I miss about my monk. Our monk was extremely fast. Could run across the whole city in mere moments. This party's actually relative. All our characters, we can just mass heal to get rid of fatigue. I don't care that much. Plus fatigue is not going to be that big of a deal. Maybe this is actually a legit party. Maybe I'm just paranoid.
Focus on the goal.
Frowning in concentration and silently moving his lips, Wilker is reading the crumpled paper in his hand. But as soon as you approach, he tucks it into his belt and gives you a bright smile. Commander, welcome. As you can see, everything is ready and we may have started celebrating without you. He shoots a guilty look at the raucous soldiers. Now, this is my kind of party. Come on, let's go sit by the fire. I hear folks are telling fantastic stories. You did a fine job putting everything together, Wilker. Oh no, all the credit should go to the troops. With a timid chuckle, Wilker glances at the laughing and somewhat inebriated soldiers and lets out a resigned sigh. Helps a little here and there. And why, pray tell? Couldn't the Crusaders have been like this from the start? If it had been, I would have been a model Crusader by now. How's my gift doing? Wilker lowers his voice. It's ready. I'll present it later when we're ready to toast your honor. But remember, I never told you anything, or I'll never hear the end of it. What if we're attacked while we're off celebrating? It's too risky to attack us so close to Dresden, and if there's an attack, the watch will sound an alarm. I put our sharpest scout, Silkit, on the job. He nods at a scrawny man sitting at a table sipping wine without a care in the world. A few seconds pass before Wilker's round face drops in horror. Silkit! Wilker turns as red as a tomato, and everyone in the army believes his kindness is almost without limit, but it appears Silkit will soon discover where exactly his limit lies. I'll be going. Hope you have a good time, Commander. Everyone here's on your side. Everyone dreams of having a chat with you, sharing a drink with you, and once you had your fill, come over to me so we can raise a glass to your health. Are there named people? Denland Blackmead. I've seen so many lands, but never before have I seen soldiers show such love for their commander. My congratulations. Man, we actually are well liked. The blue-haired bard is in a heavily patched, brightly colored jacket and speaking to an animated group, or speaking animatedly to a group of captivated soldiers. So there I was, in a tavern, cornered by demons, about to be torn to pieces. Then I grab a bottle and say, "Good sirs, I ask that you let this bard enjoy her last drink before her demise." And the demons go, "No harm in that. It's her last one after all." So we sat down to drink. For 3 days I drank moonshine with those horned beasts until they all passed out. And that's when I gathered their weapons, all quiet-like, and tiptoed to the exit. And then the bearded fellow, looking a little worse for the wear in his expensive clothes, likely some baron's scion, is listening to the bard's tale with an open mouth. "You're kidding! You really? Outdrawing the demons? What happened next?" The mage in cracked glasses caustically interrupts. "Except demons are not affected by alcohol from the material plane. Enough with your avocations, Lanica. The commander's here. What will he think once he hears your tall tales?" I have a few good stories of my own. What would you like to hear about? Is it true about your mythic pet? Tell us about the Abyss. You've really been there, haven't you? What does Lucianera look like? It is the Sea of Chaos. The space is jumbled. Islands soar through the sky. Everyone wants to kill each other, and the law is devoid of logic and rules. Hill nods his approval. The books I've read describe the place in much the same way. It's good to have it confirmed by a witness. What about the ruler of Lucianera, Nocticula? What is she like? Is she really as seductive as they say? It is hard to imagine a creature more beautiful and promiscuous. I must admit I wasn't exempt from her overtures. So you and she, really, whoa. Blushing, Benko is now looking at you with even greater respect. Adjusting his glasses, Hill inquires, "And so far as I understand, you encountered Baphomet himself in the Midnight Isles. You fought, yes?" You can't begin to imagine such power. He threw an entire mountain at me. No. That's not really that one. It was a grueling battle, but Baphomet wasn't prepared for a real fight. If he'd appeared at the head of an army and armed to the teeth, I would still be there. I assure you, Lanika will complete your story. In her retelling, you'll face Baphomet single-handedly as he pours oceans of lava on you and unleashes whirlwinds from spinning blades. The crowd applauds you. It seems they rarely get to hear such thrilling tales from the person who lived it. I see you three are fond of tall tales. Well then, shall we see who can amaze me the most with their story? Oh, well, I do believe I have a few nice tidbits to tell, and I'm sure the esteemed Helen, our good Baronet, Venko do too. Overjoyed, Lanika nods at the biliously smiling mage, and bearded fellow who sheepishly lowers his eyes. Bearded fellow, Venko, amaze me. I can't say I've anything all that amazing to tell you. Oh, well, I suppose this one time we went on patrol and ran into some demons, so I'm in the middle of things, right there, standing in front of me, is a black goat looking straight at me. Like it knows me. I get a good long look at it. Sure enough, it's Bumpy, the goat from my neighbor's farm. See, Bumpy had a bit of a temper back when he was alive, but now he was downright angry. And then out of nowhere, he breathes fire on me, almost burned me to a crisp, he did. So I run him through with my spear, and I think to myself, if the souls of mortal sinners go to the abyss after death, maybe the same goes for livestock. And that must be how old Bumpy joined the demonic host. I mean, it would explain a lot, wouldn't it? Just look at them demons, beasts, the lot of them. Venko is a Murack, a fire-breathing black demon with a goat's head. Anyway, I'm sorry, but I find it hard to believe you are so well acquainted with Bumpy that you would recognize his face, or rather, snout. Lanika. This was around 5 years ago. We were celebrating the anniversary of the founding of Canaveras, and the next morning I woke up in a gutter. I hear a voice, insistent and grating, calling out to me. On your feet, scum, the voice says. I open my eyes and see a woman made of dung. Well, now I think to myself, what in the blazes is this fragrant specimen? Then I look more closely and I realize it's just my annoying excuse for an ant. I look even closer, and it's the dung woman once again. In the end, I never found out what she was, some kind of elemental or my relative. I just grabbed a piece of roof tile from the ground and whacked her in the back, and then took off. Either way, I have no regrets. My aunt was a real pain, served her right. She smiles with satisfaction at the inappropriate snickers among the soldiers. Hill, regale us. My story, which is completely true unlike some, took place 7 months ago. I was sent on an important mission to a remote garrison, and as I'm making my way down the road, a skeleton with a cart comes walking towards me. Heaven help us, was it a lich, a lord of death, at the head of a ghoul army? No, an ordinary skeleton. Then he addresses me with great courtesy. Would you like to purchase something good, sir? I'm flabbergasted, and the skeleton just politely removes his beret and shows me his wares. And the wares? We're all cursed. Traps full of human souls. Gibbering skulls. Were they? Cut it out, Venko. No, they were perfectly fine goods. I bought a pair of boots and a rope, which has yet to show a single sign of wear. And that's the story of my amazing encounter. He may have been undead, but he was honest and polite. And I don't know which part is more amazing, that he was a gallant corpse or that he was an honest merchant. I have made up my mind. So whose story is the best? If nothing else, your story was true, so you win, Hill. Hill accepts the gold with dignity and looks triumphantly at Lanika. See, Lanika? It's impossible to tell a good tale, or it is possible to tell a good story without fabricating every word of it. Thank you. What happened to next to those drunken demons and the brave bard? Lanika continues eagerly, so I open the door. But the last of the demons grabs me by the shoulder. He's wobbly, barely able to stand, and says, let's play some dice. So we start playing. 7 rounds we played, and the poor demon bet and lost. Horns, wings, tail, and in the end, his demonic nature himself. Which version did you play, Talon, or perhaps Osirian? The abyssal version, of course. Fascinating. Nenio's pencil's already scribbling. So the demon turned into an ordinary mortal, and off he went to Canaveras, where he became a merchant. He had a family, gained a reputation for being a nasty piece of work, but I kept his horns as a trophy. She reaches for her bag and pulls out a pair of horns, earning applause from the bearded fellow. Arushale says with a sigh, if only it were that easy, if only. The mage sighs glumly. Why is it so outrageous? Or why it's so outrageous it's unworthy of being commented on, a plainer metamorphosis of the soul caused by a game of dice while in one's cups? And those are goat horns, by the way. Which one do we want to say here? I've heard similar tales about a fae, a devil, and a very dangerous dragon, and each tale was told by a different bard. Because it's a timeless classic, Commander. You mean you never actually outdrank 7 demons? What a liar you are, the bearded fellow glares at Lanika, who offers an apologetic smile in return.
Watch out for trouble.
There's Lowe here and Kirkane. There's a stir in the crowd. Everyone's watching a brawl between 2 officers, a portly halfling, red-faced with fury, and a gaunt, slouching half-elf with a phlegmatic look. Here's what I want to know. How'd you get promoted from stable mucker to full sergeant? You're a dolt. You couldn't guard so much as a haystack, let alone our army supplies. The half-elf's face bears a tragic expression. Look, Lo, we agreed you'd watch it. Enough yelling. Everyone's staring at us. Come on, not in front of the commander. Don't you dare hide behind the commander's name. Go look for it, or else. The halfling gives you a sidelong glance, then decides to lower his voice after all. An insincere smile blooms on his face, and it makes him look like a snarling wolf. He finishes the last sentence with a nervous squeak, or else to strangle you gently and without any pain whatsoever. What was it you misplaced? A map of our campaign, a supply caravan, key to Dresden's gates? Wine is drumish gold, 7,000 a cask, harvested the year before last. Un Valley, north side, light floral notes at the start, followed by a rich explosion of fruit on the finish. The halfling's inconsolable wails sound like the prayer to some little-known patron deity of wine connoisseurs. A mistake on our part. We wanted to treat you to the best drumish wine, Commander, but Lo... Noticing Lo's withering glare, the half-elf corrects himself. Sadly, I lost the cask. We brought it with us to camp, but now we can't find it. This is a disgrace, a disaster. It's for the Commander. It's drumish gold, 7,000 a cask, northern side. Floral notes, an explosion of fruit on the finish. Don't lose heart. The Commander will find the wine and save the day. Sniffing, the halfling looks at you with hope. The half-elf breathes a sigh of relief and melts, thank you. The rest of the soldiers welcome your kind offer with jovial applause. It's in a cask, a nice round cask. Your only hope, Commander. There's no chance that empty-headed beanbowl can find it. We have an insanely high perception check. Let's go check the camp. It's gotta be around here somewhere. It's also possible we have to talk to someone about it.
Calm.
Whoa, wait. We're failing perception checks here. DC 42. Let's save. Then we're going to move for Rushalan.
The struggles never cease. I sense something.
And there it is. Cask of drumish golden wine. What is her perception check? 44. Yeah, there's no way she's failing that. Here's your missing item. A joyous smile blossoms on the halfling's face. Like a mother reunited with her lost child, he holds the cask close, caressing it and whispering something to it. Then he firmly pulls out a knife and removes the cork. This calls for celebration. One of the soldiers hands you a cup of golden wine with an exquisite aroma. Everyone around you holds similar cups. With approving shouts, the cups are raised in a resounding cry of "Long live the Commander!" The wine tastes exactly as described. Light floral notes at the start with a finish of rich explosion of fruit. The halfling sighs in delight and says with feeling, "A treasure like this must not be lost. You've saved my good name, Commander. Please accept this humble gift. Amulet of Armor +5. We have a couple more people to talk to. Tane, Carol, and Vigsbird. Big something? A group of soldiers standing in front of a training dummy is engaged in heated debate. A blonde man with rippling muscles exclaims, "Now your jab is nothing on my hook." You listen here, Vigsbard. Ask anyone in Magnamar. To tell you that Tane knows a thing or two about fistfights, you tell him, Carol. To prove his point, he hits the dummy with a powerful right hook. The dummy responds in a nasally voice, hurling an elaborate obscenity about the attacker's mother. The soldiers laugh uproariously. An elf, a scout judging by her cloak, smiles mysteriously. Leave me out of this, boys. A dwarf who is stroking his shaggy, partially torn beard says in a guttural voice, Vigsbard knows fist fighting too. Speed by mass equal hit. Fast hit, strong hit. I observe the debaters. At first, the argument looks like the typical disagreement between three professionals with differing views on the art of breaking noses. We also notice the enthusiasm with which the blonde soldier by the name of Tane is appealing to the elf Carol. How hard he's trying to impress her. Carol appears to have noticed it too and is now blatantly enjoying herself by observing his advances. There is, however, someone she's watching with even more interest. You. As for Vigsbard, the dwarf, despite his reserved demeanor, his pride has clearly been wounded by Tane's mocking tone. His every gesture shows that he's nimble and an experienced fighter who's used to people treating his words with respect. Experience tells me that in any argument, the one who says the least tends to know the most. Flattered, Carol bows her head and glances at you, her gaze flirtatious. When it comes to unarmed combat, I prefer to argue with my fists, not words, and over the 7 decades I've dedicated to this craft, I've had quite a few arguments, so I'll gladly let my comrades speak and merely listen to them. Noticing that you have Carol's undivided attention, Tane looks at her with chagrin. Alright, I'm intrigued. When did our dummies start swearing when they're hit? They haven't learned to fight back yet, have they? Ah, just a bit of fun. We asked a mage friend to enchant a dummy for us. Now it can't be broken by striking it, and whenever someone hits it, it curses. The stronger the hit, the meaner the curse. That part was my idea. Tane smiles smugly and throws a quick, half-hearted punch at the dummy. Arsehole. The soldiers erupted into laughter as the dummy reels from the hit. A grotesque face has been crudely carved onto the dummy's head, labeled for the avoidance of all doubt, Aurilu Vorlesh. Ah, quaint and unsophisticated army humor. I haven't missed you one jot. You have a refined sense of humor, Tane, judging by all the Magnamarian obscenities your straw friend is regaling us with. You not only came up with the idea of teaching it to speak, you also contributed greatly to its vocabulary, ours too. Give it a try, Commander. It's all in good fun. Let me have a go at this thing. It'd be nice to get some exercise. Tane nods vigorously. How about a wager, eh? To see who can deliver the strongest punch to this straw lummox. The most honest way is to see whose strike comes closest to the commander's result. The soldiers loudly voiced their approval of Tane's idea. Coin straight hands. Someone diligently takes bets. Tane, Carol, and Vigsbard all look determined to win. Tane? Flexing his muscles, he smiles lazily and steps forward towards the dummy before turning his body and throwing a devastating punch at the straw head. Putrid, hideous freak! The dummy squeals like a rabid pig and the soldiers applaud. Urushle whispers, why are they laughing? Aren't those words meant to hurt people? Carol? Carol doesn't assume any stance. She simply shifts her shoulders, and her hand jumps forward like a cobra. Instead of punching the dummy with her fist, she chops it with her open hand, as if slashing with a sword. Thrice unholy, sleazy, irksome, kobold lantern! The wobbly dummy curses with feeling as the soldiers cheer, impressed by either Carol's skill or the dummy's imagination. Vigsbard? Vigsbard walks up to the dummy, sizes it up, and then checks the distance meticulously, then suddenly unleashes a simple straight jab. Drop dead, you randy, mush-mouthed runt with shriveled balls and a wandering wife. The dummy's fierce tirade silences the surprised crowd. Sounds long, sounds victory. My turn. Strike with all your legendary might. Your fist pierces the protective enchantments around the dummy, dissolving them with its unbridled might. Pieces of straw fly like fireworks of magical sparks. The stunned soldier's stare melts agape. Holy crap. Tane's dumbfounded remark serves as a pale substitute for the dummy's verbose expletives and as a brief requiem for the dead straw man. I of course dedicate this victory to the beautiful Carol. Carol welcomes your words with a flattered smile. You're so gallant, Commander. I accept the head of this foul-mouthed monster from the hands of my undefeated champion. The soldiers made such a racket discussing what they just saw that it's no longer possible to continue the conversation. We just flirted in front of Urushle, kind of jerky of us, but that's okay. Wilker Carms. Hope you're enjoying yourself, Commander. Actually, I'm going to quickly check around if there's anyone else to talk to first before we say goodbye to anyone. Do you have anything to say now, Blackmead? Nope. Are you guys good now, too? Just gonna check all those. Can we go up here and just check to make sure there's no hidden loot? No perception checks going off. Okay, good. Alright, I think it's time to get our toast. Hope you're enjoying yourself, Commander. Think you've had enough fun? Then allow me to propose a toast. While the soldiers gather around you to watch, Wilker consults the papers he just plucked from his belt and bombastically says, Dear Commander, we here are but simple soldiers. While you have had great victories, conversed with gods, descended into the abyss, and returned in triumph, the gap between us is vast, and that makes our admiration for your sacrifice all the more profound. You renounced otherworldly and dangerous powers and accepted a mortal's lot, one we all share. A feat like that takes legendary courage, so please accept our legendary respect. Here's to the Commander. The soldiers raise their cups and tankards with a deafening cheer. A silken bundle appears in Wilker's hands. This humble gift is from all of us simple crusaders. We named it Trusted Friend because that is how we think of you. Our trusted friend. Your fight is our fight, your triumph is our triumph. A dark-haired warrior with a mischievous smile adds, and if we also happen to get a bit of glory from all these tall tales they tell about you, even better. With a deceptively casual tone, Greybor asks, Are you questioning the Commander's reputation, soldier? Thank you, Wilker. Wilker bows awkwardly. Please, Commander, I already told you this is from all of us, and it's the least we can do to thank you for all the glorious feats you've done for us. Wilker, who's this soldier? Wilker says in an apologetic tone, This is Denleen from Brevoy. He recently joined our army, and he must have had a little too much, but not nearly enough to be unable to introduce myself. The warrior smiles broadly without a shred of embarrassment. Denleen Blackmead, they call me. I'm aware that the frustrated ambition can be a little painful, but might the upstart go and gnash his teeth somewhere else? I accept your challenge. Excellent. He claps his hands in excitement. How about we test our prowess in a manner as safe as it is ancient, a drinking contest. With a wink, Denlin confidently hands you a tankard filled to the brim. It has a spicy, flowery aroma. The soldiers watch with interest, and they're already making wagers. Well, Commander, shall we throw on back to our victory? Stay on your feet, Eltimar, whatever the cost. And remember, your reputation is not the only one at stake here. Mine is as well. What will people think of me if this upstart manages to outdrink you? They'll think me an amateur who can't teach the commander how to drink, that's what. Our fort save is 34, so take a truly legendary chug from the tankard to victory. What the? How did we fail? Whatever's in your tankard, this drink should be considered a weapon, not entertainment, and slams into your head like a blacksmith's hammer. Your body feels pleasantly warm and the world around you begins to spin. You realize a goofy, satisfied grin is plastered on your face. Your instincts tell you this is no ordinary drink that could have overpowered me like that, not with just one sip. The bench you're sitting on begins to sway precariously. Summoning your strength, you try to hold on to the careening furniture, and you seem to be mumbling something about the treachery of the furniture on which you sit. You have no idea how these words come to mind. The soldiers around you chuckle. Your opponent smiles triumphantly, sober as a judge. It seems I have won, or rather, I won along with that traitorous bench. I hope you ride a more faithful steed when you charge into battle against demons. Your cheat, the one who was spiked with something. He laughs. Sure it was. There's no end to the excuses losers make. You really showed me alright that you're nothing but a loudmouth drunk. His smug smile evaporates. He frowns and boldly calls out, "Are you suggesting a more serious contest? Good. What say you to an arm wrestling match?" It is. I'm game. Rolling up his sleeve, Denlin looks at you testily. Let's see whose arm is stronger. We have 77 athletics. You and Denlin lock hands in an iron grip. His hand is as hard as stone. With an arched eyebrow and a smile, he asks, "Shall we begin?" The next second, he bears down on you with the strength of a raging bull. Pushes down with brute force. Your opponent's brute force is met with an equally mighty rebuff. The table under your elbows creaks as if it's about to break. Face red from the strain, Denlin stubbornly fights against your hand. The two of you are deadlocked. Sweat trickles into your eyes. Pain slowly spreads through your hand. It's faint for now, but very soon it'll turn into an intolerable burning. He still has strength for one final push, Commander. Hold on, this will be decided shortly. Assess your surprisingly strong opponent. Denlin is in decent shape. His forearms are sinewy and tough, but you can't understand where his incredible strength comes from. No amount of training or hard physical labor could develop this kind of power. Your elbow practically embeds itself in the oak table. Losing track of time, you just hold on until your vision goes dark. Then the light returns and you see Denlin's hand pinned to the table by yours. He hisses in pain. The soldiers whoop as Denlin leaps to his feet, his face burning. He looks terrifying, his eyes blazing, and a powerful aura around him causes the others to shrink away and tremble. You're mocking me? I wish I could teach you a real lesson. Easy, soldier, you're drunk, and you're saying things people don't say in the company of friends. Steel yourself and give Denlin a stern nod. What are you waiting for, soldier? If you're looking for a fight, I'm ready. He looks at you with respect. You're challenging me? Fantastic, I was holding back, but now there's no need. Are you mocking me? Do you think I'm funny? Well then come here and we'll laugh together.
Let's make this quick.
What the hell is he?
You require my unbiased
All I heard from
opinion?
that encounter was more Sirocco's. More damage.
Oh, the waiting's never
Darren,
fun.
go up there. I want you to bring their summons that way. Maybe that won't happen, or won't help.
Are we ready to move out?
I'm gonna win.
Does anyone require my...
Not losing to that upstart. Here we go again. Maybe he'll have a better or worse round this time. Worse starting round.
Time to practice my combat abilities.
Damn it. His initiative is too high.
I'll just have to
Annoyingly.
resort to brute force.
She is nauseated.
The inheritor, guide my blade.
So is she. Darren is as well. But he can actually, it looks like he can cast. No, we can't. He's not good. It lasts for too long. Let's spread our people out.
Simply business.
I need to get away from him. He will kill me. And he's down. He's stunned from attacking me. Interesting. Darren can do stuff. He had an attack thingy. We failed to dispel him. Let's try again. Wow, we are rolling. Our rolls are terrible. Oh no, his DC is way higher now, so never mind. We're gonna kill you. It's not gonna be easy. We're confused on Nenio. It's fine.
This'll leave a bruise.
Sela will be fine. She'll just take some serious hits for a bit. Stay back. Just stay way back. I'm gonna give you a mark of justice. I don't actually think you're evil, though. You are lawful neutral. Nenio's got this fight. I'm gonna keep trying to dispel him in the odd chance that it works. Not likely, but you never know. The haze of anger gradually fades from the fighter's battle craze dies, and his grim scowl is replaced by his previous mischievous grin.
Enough. We gave each other a good thrashing, but it's time to stop. I lost my temper. That tends to happen when I've had a few.
Dinlian holds up his hands as he returns to his usual form.
I should probably apologize and introduce myself properly. As you've likely guessed already, my name's not Dinlian. My name is Caden Kalian, the accidental god at your service.
No fanfare fills the air, and hundreds of Azadas do not darken the sky with arrows tied with motley ribbons. The man who called himself the patron of adventurers and lovers of drink simply stands before you with an amiable smile on his face. Caden Kalian is the god of alcohol, bravery, and freedom, is one of the Ascended, those mortals who achieved godhood by passing the test of the Starstone. Because legend tells that he passed the test while intoxicated, he's also known as the Lucky Drunk, the Drunken Hero, or the Accidental God. You're really Caden Kalian?
The very same. The Taldan sellsword who passed the test of the Starstone and became a god, patron of innkeepers, adventurers, brave souls, and defenders of freedom. And I'm also something of a poet.
You went to a pretty extreme length just to say hello.
Well, I am the god of bold deeds and risky ventures, not the god of politeness, not the god of prudence. My way is to act first and think later.
Caden smiles in response.
How about a friendly drink?
How could I refuse a drink from the patron of drinking himself?
Here's to you. Well then, I wanted to meet you, and so I have. Now I think it's time for me to head somewhere else. I'm not going to give you my blessing. You're used to handling things on your own. So, I'll just wish you good luck, Commander.
He's not a Fae, he's a god, technically. But he's a Azada god, so I guess technically he's not really part of the Fae realm, but it's kind of weird.
Struggles never cease.
You know what you're doing.
I'm always
Good.
open to ideas.
Well, that was a pretty interesting encounter, I gotta say. The editing will make it seem that I only did 2 attempts. I did not. It was 3. It required many Circos. Dude is intense, that strong. We fought a god to a standstill. That is pretty impressive. And it was all thanks to limitless Ascendant Element Circos. Not limitless, there's like 10 of them. Alright, Wilker, let's talk to you again. I'm gonna save just in case this goes weird again. Wilker is staring at you in awe, a worthy battle. Never seen the good lord so forcefully rebuffed. So you forgot to mention we had a surprise guest at our little party, none other than Caden Kalian, the accidental god. Terribly sorry, Commander, but I didn't forget. Lord Kalian forbade me to say anything. How could I refuse a god? From time to time he visits the feasts of mortals and observes them. He rarely reveals his identity, but he wished to meet the commander everyone's been talking about. Well, that was certainly an unexpected adventure. Wilker laughs with you relieved. It was for me too. You know, it's not every day I get to drink in the company of my deity. When he started baiting you, I hoped the ground would swallow me whole. I'll be going. Hope you enjoy our little party. Thanks. Let's go talk to anyone else. Maybe they want to say things about this situation. Nope.
Watch out for trouble.
And... nope. And... nope. Okay, time to leave. That was cool. That was a cool little event. We're going to end the video here. Like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, in the next video, we'll continue on our way, do some more side quests. We're getting closer to the time where we're going to go to Eyes, deal with that, and then we're going to do Threshold, and deal with that as well. For now, though, I'll leave you guys here. Take care. See you next time.